It's a time for package from China. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in, because in this video we are going to take a close look at the XS5600 Gamebox 4K Ultra HD game stick. Wait, what? Man, these boxes are so freaking confusing. But I came across this thing on AliExpress and it's a new system in town, so I'm curious what are we going to get. So the box doesn't have a lot of information, just the basic stuff like wireless controllers, 5600 games, 3D game, blah blah blah, a lot of stuff. Sometimes you're just putting something on the box that doesn't make any sense, like a freaking game stick. But let's open it up and let's see what we're going to get. God damn it, this thing is freaking chemical. Okay, so this is what we're going to get inside the box. So let's talk about the remote, because this is a dual boot system. This thing has not a remote, it's just a really cheap, let's say a very basic remote. Take consideration, we have an Android, it is Android 9, but it is more like a rooted version. So this means we can play full HD Netflix. Just want to point it out, this is just a common problem with these boxes. Of course, the deluxe toilet paper manual with some basic explanations about everything like the controls. Then we're having this very horrible cheap 12 volt 1 amp adapter. I can say that this thing weighs almost nothing, so I really hate when they're doing this. Okay, so even the adapter I'm going to get with this device doesn't even fit that well. In short, HDMI cable, nothing special. We're having the TV box itself. We're also going to do an ETA Prime moment talking about the specifications, and we're going to do a quick overview and the teardown. And the controllers. This is basically the most horrible Chinese smelling controls I have ever seen in my life. Seriously, I have seen my share of shitty controllers that are having this chemical smell, and it's just freaking awful. Oh, this, I think you can hear it on the microphone. It's just so flimsy, and the joystick feels more like there's kind of a gel on it. Ugh. So USB 1 and USB 2, and what I can tell you is that there is a big problem with this TV box. We can't use other controllers than these ones. Yeah. So when you take a close look at the specifications, this is getting really close to the Super Console X I've reviewed here on the page, but there are some differences. To begin with, this has the S905W. The CPU is an AIM Logic Cortex A53 1200 MHz quad core that has a GPU that is a Mali 450 MP. It's a very common GPU nowadays on these cheap boxes. In total has 2 GB of RAM. That is very interesting, because most Pandora boxes or Super Console X systems have only 1 GB. It's a dual boot system with Android 9 Pie. It's a rooted, so take consideration with Netflix you will have some issues, like you can't run it on 1080p or 4K. And the EMU-ALEC is retropart on a 32 GB SD card, but I have no idea what version, because they locked it out and I can't see it. But when you take a close look at this box itself, and especially the specifications, and we're going to do a quick compare with the Super Console X, I can say the information they are giving us in compared with the Super Console X is not bad at all. So the reason why I'm saying not bad at all, it's similar like the Super Console X, but this box is way cheaper and we're having 2 GB of RAM. And the Super Console X only has 1. But let's talk about the design itself. The design is quite simple. I don't know if they ever using just an Android box and adding a decal on it like old stock, and just adding a new CF card to it with EMU-ALEC. So at the right side we're going to get USB 1 or 2, or basically at the left side, brain fart. Then we're having at the back the input for the 12 volt 1 amp. And here we're having the CF card that contains the EMU-ALEC software. Is just a 32 GB version, not a big one. AV out, HDMI, and also we can just use a normal Ethernet cable. That is not very common with these boxes. So here it says Android TV box model number D905, made in China. Okay, so let's do a quick teardown. Remove the 4 feet, because underneath we're going to get the 4 screws or the 4 Parkers. Hey, it's more like a surprise. It's more like, find the Parkers. Nope, there are only 2 of them. Okay, now I know for sure. Let's remove them. Seriously, is this thing only held by freaking 2 screws? That would be very interesting to see. Okay, let's remove this one. I'm lucky that's the only thing I need to remove. Sometimes you need to remove the other stickers like this one. So far I can feel there is nothing else. Okay, let's lift it open and let's see how we're going to get it open. Alright, so it was a pain in the ass to get this thing open, basically because the reason is that they clicked in most parts. There was only 2 screws keeping it together. So that's it what we're going to get inside. So let's open it up, let's lift it out. So there's no extra screws in here. Okay, so lift it very gently. And this is the tiny main board. So for the Wi-Fi capability, they have added this antenna. It seems to be that it was normally with double-sided tape, but it's already getting loose. That's not a good thing, of course. So here we're having the chip. Sadly, I can't remove it. I'll try to get some force on it. No. So these things are going to get always glued on the main board. We're having the Root 2 RAM chips over here. There's even a QR code on it. It's quite interesting. But this is what you're going to get in the inside. There's not a lot of stuff, just a very tiny PCB. And I could not say that this thing is made in a certain year. Sometime when they're going to create a completely new PCB board, then we're going to get a date on it when it's been produced. But so far I can see there is nothing special about it. So it's highly possible that it's just an old Android box slapped into a new casing. They're reusing old tech. Okay, so when the system is booted up, this is the menu that you're going to get represented with. And the first thing I did notice with this menu is that when you're pressing start, you can't access the start menu. And there's a little bit of a bummer because you're going to need it for reconfiguration, especially with the controllers. So when it comes to the compatibility compared with the Super Console X, basically we're going to get the same stuff like the really old stuff up to Sega Naomi. I did notice that Atomic Wave is not on the system, so I was very curious about it and a little bit bummed out because the Atomic Wave was not running correctly on the Super Console X due of the 1 GB RAM, and I wanted to test it out on this device because this one does 2 GB of RAM. Okay, so let's take a close look at some games and how are they running on the machine. I do like the menu. Okay, so the old stuff like 8-bit, 16-bit will run just fine on the system, but just want to give you some quick looks into the game and just see how they're running. Oh. Alright, so all the games are on the widescreen. Oh my god. It's a freaking nightmare. The Pandora nightmare all over again. And the thing is, you can go into the RetroArch menu. So you're stuck with the widescreen stuff. The game seems to be running just fine, but this is just a big bummer in my opinion. Because they locked everything down, there is no freaking way to adjust the graphical part, the aspect ratio, and etc. Oh, yep, same problem, like all the other ones. So N64 will always be more like a mixed bag. I just specially choose this game because you guys want to check it out. It still has the same issues, like the same emulator, but yep, it does. Same stuff like the Raspberry Pi 4 and a lot of the Android boxes. Oh boy.
I'll break your face. Round one. Fight.
So I can say with Tekken, it's just more like a mixed bag. When starting up the game, I already noticed that it has a little bit of stuttering. And it depends on what kind of game you wanted to play. So take into consideration if you want to play in God of War, that will never run on a system like this. Because this is just a low-powered Android box. Games like Tekken 5 do seem to be working, I wouldn't say fine, but they are playable in some ways.
Charge. One. Are you ready? Action! Oh no!
Alright guys, so what do I think of this box? I must say I'm a little bit disappointed in many ways. So to begin with, I'm missing a lot of platforms. So especially what I already mentioned, that Atomic Wave is a platform that didn't run very well on the Super Console X, but it is highly possible it does run better on this system due of the more RAM. So the controllers are freaking awful. I have never seen such a chemical and yeah, my hands smell all like the controller, so I'm going to wash my hands when I'm done with this video. But in general, there is no on and off switch. It's just one freaking mess if you ask me when it comes to this machine. So let's do a quick overview. So what do I think of this? Okay guys, I just wanted to give you a quick overview. So what do I think of this new box? So is this a cheaper version and is this just an other option like the Super Console X? Yeah, it's more like the cheaper Super Console X edition. You can say that. What I find very surprising is just the 2 GB of RAM. We'll do more like a side-by-side comparison because there are some more specification differences. But then overall, it's just, they messed it up, especially the part that you can not add different controllers. So let's say you can open up the menu and set it up. Maybe we can do some tinkering with it with the software that we can unlock it. But out of the box, this is what you're going to get. I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit the bell, become one of the Wicked family. And I will see you in the next video.